For those at home, we do remember to use quotation marks when quoting other people's words, even if you can't see them. Which is why you should join the Discord channel and read our scripts, see our linked articles, and generally have fun. Fun.
I know where we are.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Saturday Evening's Posted Mostly Weekly Broken News with your host, Trevor Stewart.
Thank you, Nick.
You're welcome.
Well, hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome back to another episode pre-recorded live in front of a Twitch home audience, or live if you're home and watching on Twitch, of Saturday Evening's Posted Mostly Presents Weekly Broken News with me, your host, Trevor Stewart 1308. Let me remind you that this is not a news show, and this is not a news show. And I am not a journalist. All of the views expressed herein are 100% correct and verifiable as opinions. It is good to be here today, finally, after yesterday's were Groundhog's Day, and I just kept repeating it over and over again with Bill Murray. And in that spirit, apparently, Taylor Swift will be time traveling to attend the Super Bowl. I believe we may be covering that a bit more later on, possibly next show. Big news here at Nikwork Entertainment. Our Discord is up and running and ready for people to join. The link is in the chat if you're watching live on Twitch. We look forward to being joined by all of you, our friends. Thank you. And now, this evening, we would like to begin with a bomb threat at the Daily Wire recently. Oh, no, wait. That was a bomb released by the Daily Wire. Apparently, Lady Ballers is so bad that it makes Joanna Man look funny and sensitive by comparison. It's so bad that it makes Ishtar look like brilliant cinema by comparison. In fact, it is so bad that it could only have been made by the Daily Wire. Moving right along, Republicans scuttle a border bill because dem darn Dems decided the border was more of a problem for their constituents than the politics of agreeing with Republicans. From Newsweek, Jim Jordan wants one sentence added to the border bill. That sentence is, "Time out on all of this. No money can be used to process or release into the country any new migrants." Or at least it looked like those words were coming out of his mouth, but it sort of sounded like Trump's voice. And we can all see where Trump stuffed his tiny little hands. Hello. Death Kitty decided to join us for a moment. Moving on to something from MSN.com. Virginia roadkill bill introduced could allow you to bring home your dinner. Or the WVTF Radio IQ version, it's about to become easier to claim roadkill in Virginia. To quote Brad Kuttner of Radio IQ, Let the jokes begin, said Rockingham Republican Delegate Tony Wilt as he lightheartedly introduced a serious bill to allow people to collect roadkill created by other drivers. This being said, I don't think it's necessarily stopped anybody from picking up roadkill, that it has been illegal to do so. Moving on to something from ABC 8. New proposal would require hound hunters to have permits in Virginia. We like that because we are not fond of the hounds running willy-nilly across our fields and in our forest. Currently, the use of dogs in hunting in Virginia is fairly unregulated, with the majority of right-of-way given to the hunters over any landowners or occupants that may be affected by the willy-nilly freedom of the hunters to release their dogs on any public road. This bill aims to equalize the balance of power to some degree, as well as raise much-needed funds for the Department of Game and Wildlife. The only thing I have to say to this is, keep your darn dogs off my lawn, you kids! And moving along, on a far less funny note, from WHSV3 News. Charlottesville man arrested after hours-long standoff. The article has been updated since the initial headline of, quote, FBI and CPD on St. Charles Street, with the original January 23rd article mostly stating that there was a heavy police presence and that the, quote, FBI told 29 News that this is a court-authorized law enforcement activity and that there is no current threat to the public, end quote. For those at home that can't see the link, that was not a typo. WHSV3 quoted WVIR 29 News. And personally, having worked for Channel 29 WVIR in a previous life, I can tell you that quoting them can be a very brave choice. The most recent update reflects the statement released by the U.S. Attorney's Office / Western District of Virginia. Charlottesville man arrested for operating East Coast prostitution ring. Leave it to civilians to be the weakest link. Bunch of narcs. Moving right along, and to a segment that is an old favorite here. Escaped animals or Ark on the Lam. Popular mechanics. Scientists extract woolly rhino DNA from hyena poop. That's remarkable. No, that's disgusting. And the related article, woolly mammoth coming back to life by 2027. De-extinction details. You know, there is an entire movie franchise dedicated to why this sort of thing is just a very bad idea in general. Just ask Jeff the Fly Goldblum. Nature finds a way. Moving on to something from WMBF News. Doctor arrested for allegedly performing illegal surgeries on dogs. From the article, she allegedly admitted to performing transvaginal artificial insemination and semen collection on her dogs, as well as suturing the dogs if they got into a fight, using her experience as an OBGYN and justification for performing the procedures, as well as using internet as a source. Now, me here personally, I am a huge believer in YouTube University, but certain things just shouldn't be learned here, such as medical procedures, especially when they're going to be performed on animals who don't have legal recourse to, sue the pants off of somebody for doing that. we recently received word that the Global Animal Freedom Foundation may be looking into, quote, drastic action, their words, not ours, in regards to the Dr. Mengele of the pet world. Are you enjoying my water? Live broadcast. What can I say? Working with pets on a live broadcast. And moving right along to something from NPR. Foul-mouthed parrots are unlikely stars at a British zoo. To quote the article, the parrots are a font of foul language. Their habit of spouting curse words at a torrent rate has, by turns, mortified and amused the people who work with them at the Lincolnshire Wildlife Park in Friskney, England. Now, the family-friendly animal park is trying a new plan it hopes will tame the parrots' salty language. It's integrating them into a larger flock where they will, quote, hopefully learn all the nicer sounds and words. Steve Nichols, the park's CEO, told NPR. We can all sort of see where this is headed, can't we? I mean, this isn't gonna end up with the few parrots sounding better. This is gonna end us up with an entire flock, foul-mouthed flock of beaked cursing birds. It's like when you teach a Furby to curse and then put it next to another Furby, it teaches the other Furby to curse. My friends thought that teaching Furbies to curse was the height of 90s technology. Next up from CNN. This New Jersey animal shelter will neuter your ex. Well, kind of. Taking a page out of the popular annual Cry Me a Cockroach fundraiser held by the San Antonio Zoo, the Homeward Bound Pet Adoption Center in Backwood, quote, is offering to name a feral cat after a donor's ex, then neuter or spay the cat in question, unquote. This is a wonderful way to express your feelings and take care of various critters at the same time. Associate producer question: does the Global Animal Freedom Foundation have/support the same sort of special for feeding sharks? Moving right along to something from the Washington Post. Richmond man charged with killing the city's legendary Hollywood buck. The man was charged with upwards of 19 misdemeanor counts of fish and wildlife violations in the Virginia capital, and is lucky he got picked up by the cops. I heard that Gaff was planning an assault op. And moving along to some more human news. From Politico, the gas stove fight finally flames out. To quote the article, a new energy department regulation would modestly tighten efficiency requirements for some gas stoves. The war over gas stoves has just been shoved to the back burner. Personally, I think they're making a meal of it. This whole thing is inflammatory gassed up hot air. This is interesting from an MSN.com clickbait article. Discovery of mysterious oh my god particles leads to major telescope upgrade. potentially unlocking unknown physics. A little research brings us to this article from the University of Utah Department of Physics and Astronomy. Solving the mystery of the oh my god particle. In short, U of Utah set up an experimental telescope consisting of 1,600 water tanks to mimic an insect's eye, and in 1991 they caught something strange, the most energetic cosmic ray ever detected. In the years since discovering the oh my god particle, several other off-the-chart events have happened, but so far none have exceeded the event captured in 1991. Currently, a similar fly-eye observation array is being installed in Argentina. None of this should be confused with the oh my god polycule, which is a lot more fun. This sounds very similar to the methods used to discover neutrinos. Moving right along, on December 14th, 2023, ABC News Australia reported that British boy Alex Batty, who went missing 6 years ago, found in southern France. The delivery driver who helped is quoting as saying, "He did not appear to have been miserable there, but he was very happy to have left. Just think if they'd have dropped for next day delivery." There is an update to the story from CNN. Alex Batty, British boy who went missing in France for 6 years, says being back home feels surreal. Alex is now home safely with his grandmother and is reportedly still very glad to no longer be in France, although being stuck in Manchester isn't much better. And that brings us to our commercial break. I'm not entirely certain. I feel like drinking the water after the cat. Now is the time in the show when we bring you a word from water with cat hair. No cat hair. It's just that I know where she puts that tongue. Ew. So now is the time in the show when we bring you a word from our advertisers, and this word is newspaper. Quote, the 8-track tape of the information age. From the official Dictionary of Sarcasm, James Napoli. Pardon me. We would also like to thank our associate producer, Kat, who has done an amazing job once again. Our correspondents, our UK correspondent, Who's That Girl? It's Jess. And Robbie Nova, our Canada correspondent, both of whom are streamers here on Twitch, or over there on Twitch if you're watching this on YouTube right now. We would like to thank our Discord Marina Ion. We would especially like to thank our Discord manager Marina Ion at Human Tech Art, who we are delighted to be working with again and who has done an amazing job working with Kat to set up the Discord and get ready for all of you, our friends, to come visit. Our amazing ASOC prod has also been working on our links skeleton for the description box. So our description box on YouTube should hopefully include all of the links to our friends who we are just about to plug shortly, and quite possibly also our Discord link. And now we would like to plug our channel friends who have merch stores. Who's That Girl, Dassin __, and Akika Calde. Their merch stores are, respectively, merch.streamelements.com/who's that girl, store.streamelements.com Dassin __, and streamlabs.com Akiko Calde/merch, where you will find an amazing amount of delightful merch, including your Who's That Girl Dante's Muggins mug, coffee, Hiya, I'm Cakey Dassin sticker. There are many others as well. And the Bad Times Do Get Better t-shirt that you see on Nick13 behind me. Now, let us also not forget our friend, the inimitable, this bodes ill for the tongue twister later today, the inimitable Jeffy Millimeter, who has moved his merch to his new activewear brand, Emerald. Quote, 100% the motto is see into the future, unquote. And the website is emeraldbrandproject.com. We also would like to shout out some of our dear friends here on Twitch who stream: D. Angela, Send Noodles, Moozy, Busy Bell, Metamorpheus, Sleepy Scrubs, EV Something, Kiwi 007, Bex Bexy, Baby Groot, Ghoulish Cutie, Appy Juice, DJ Lockpick, who is currently spinning, I believe, probably some funky drum and bass. And, of course, the whole No Pants Sunday Raid Train, as well as Retro Future Now, Master Rasta 420, DJ Lumi 242, DJ Jadzia Dex, and also our amazing friend Wasabi, who is actually streaming right now as well. I'd also like to take this moment to shout out a few of our YouTube friends, as well as like to take a moment to shout out a few of our YouTube friends as well. Go check out our talented music producer friends, Pan's Delight and Paula Haunt. Paula Haunt just recently, this last week, dropped a fire new track. And so, to stay up with that, you should be subscribed on YouTube to actually both Pan's Delight and Paula Haunt, because Pan's Delight has been dropping some fire new tracks as well. We'd also like to shout out our friend Alex INTP, a very talented visual artist and writer under the moniker of Mango Pudding over on Wattpad. And I will say that our friend Alex's YouTube channel is very... It's kind of intense, but she is on an intense journey. And she is trying to help other people who may be on similar journeys to know that they're not alone and that there are people out there who are going through difficult times. We very much support Alex INTP and think that you should too. We'd also like to shout out. We would also like to shout out our friend Lucy 2001, who is a talented young actress from off the coast of Scotland. And that's left in here from last week. Well, and a special shout out to John Lewis, spelled Jawn, a video essayist and dropper of truth, with a brilliant and sly sense of humor. And finally, we would like to thank our friends who are on other platforms, such as our friend Oshay, who has her own website, Oshays Beautiful Things, and you should definitely go check out the beautiful things over at Oshays Beautiful Things. It is a beautiful thing. North Yorkshire's own Jennifer Weston, artist extraordinary and dear lifelong friend. And our associate producer wishes to give a shout out to @FritzFishing on TikTok. Congratulations on the massive 19.5 blue catfish catch and release. Wow, 19.5 pounds? Wow. I hope they weren't noodling for catfish and caught a 19.5 pounder. That would be enough to take off your entire arm. Just 19.5 pounds. That's a big fish. Cat says, nope, night fishing with a new lure. Still, that's a big, big fish. It's 20 pounds of just solid muscle. Just sort of fighting you every step of the way. Now Death Kitty is lying down on the bed over in her corner, cleaning herself and looking self-satisfied at having disrupted, or trying to have disrupted, the show this morning. A cat says it looked like a toddler when he held it up. Well, how many toddlers has he held up? Did he hold it up at gunpoint? Trevor, you need to stop watching those Britcoms. They are really affecting your sense of humor. What sense of humor, Trevor? Ouch. Cat says no comment on grounds of ... reasons. Probably safer that way. Just in general, just safer that way. Serious face, Trev. Serious face. You got this. From the mid... That did not come out right. From the Midwest to our great northern neighbor to the north, Canada, I'm Mitch Egan, and this is What's Up North, eh? Two headlines from CBC News. Military was warned some Cyclone helicopter blades are defective and could rip apart in flight. Quote, unsigned, undated document says that the CH-148's maker, Sikorsky, alerted the military on June 6, 2022, to a potential debonding problem with the main rotor blades installed on some Cyclones. So far, quote, none of the Canadian Forces Cyclone blades have failed in flight, unquote. Weren't there problems with other aircraft just a little bit ago? How important are the rotors on a helicopter? Are they more important than the door on a plane? Warrington Willie Shabunakati Sam and Fred Lamarmit are Warrington Willie, Shabunakati Sam, and Fred Lamarmit predict early spring. Quote, Willie's prediction matches those of Punxsutawney Phil, Shabunakati Sam, and Fred Lamarmit. Fred Lamarmit, not Lamontagne. Glad to know that all of the burrowing bards agree this year. From BBC, massive taxidermy polar bear stolen in bizarre Canadian heist. Quote, police in Canada are investigating the bizarre theft of a taxidermy polar bear weighing some 500 pounds, 225 kilograms, from a resort near Edmonton. The bear, standing some 12 feet, 3.6 meters tall, is believed to have been snatched during the cold snap in early January with temperature near 30 degrees Celsius, negative 22 Fahrenheit. A 12-foot, quarter-ton bear would be kind of difficult to hide under your parka, eh? Polar vortex plunges province into pervasive permafrost. Prowlers pilfer precious, ponderous plush, ursine prop. Please post position if plotted, pinpointed, perceived, or pictured. Thank you. From CNN, sonar imagery may have located Amelia Earhart's long-lost plane, researchers say. Quote, Deep Sea Vision announced the find through an Instagram post on Saturday, January 27th, unquote. There are plans to visit the site again and confirm with the next year or so using camera equipment and most likely an ROV. Remote operated vehicle. I nailed it in one. And moving along to a more serious segment. Not that there won't be jokes, just that it's a more serious segment. The war on education. From WCAV 19 News. Judge rejects school system's request to toss out long-running SA lawsuit. Quote, a federal judge has rejected a request by Virginia's largest school system to toss out a lawsuit accusing it of indifference to a middle school student's claims of SA and harassment, unquote. Associate producer cheering in background, as we all are. The allegations were raised in 2011, with a settlement being reached between the U.S. Department of Education and Fairfax County Public School System in 2014. This is important later. In 2019, the student filed a civil suit against the school board, at least two of the attackers and several others. In November of 2023, FCPS tried to get the case thrown out. They stated that the student had lied about the attacks. There are messages that prove this, and that there was a relationship between the student and at least one of her attackers at the time, which has no bearing on such attacks. Quote, the two were actually boyfriend and girlfriend. The girl had sought him out during a period of time in which she alleged the attacks. So FCPS believes that any previous relationship equals permanent consent. I mean, it's what it seems like. And FCPS also has managed to find unsubstantiated and unverified text to base this view on. That does feel like rather flimsy evidence at best. This is the same FCPS that in 2017 was slapped by a federal judge for destroying or failing to keep records/texts that were needed for another SA case they were facing. Documents that should be routinely saved and filed because the 2014 settlement required FCPS to maintain a computer system to retain such evidence. This case is currently scheduled to be tried in March, and the associate producer will be watching for updates as they appear. My personal takeaway from this is to not send your kids to Fairfax County Public Schools. It just doesn't seem like a safe place for children. Moving on to something from NHPR. Exeter Charter School closing amid investigation into alleged fraud and embezzlement. Let's start this off by noting that, in general, the families involved valued and respected the efforts that the teachers put forth, despite all the challenges that the administration provided. It was the fact that the school opened in 2022, but was still holding classes outside in tents as recently as December of 2023 that fueled parental concerns. Quote, Jesse Pelosi, who withdrew his children from coastal waters in late 2022, said he worried that the mechanisms for reporting and monitoring concerns about charter schools are, quote, potentially very broken. There is a huge desire for alternatives to public schooling, he said. Quote, there's also a huge opportunity for exploitation there. And that exploitation is named the DeVos family. Yes, that DeVos. Yes, that Betsy DeVos and her family. Another parent is quoted, without transparent oversight or the same legal requirements as public schools, our children were put at risk multiple times and their education has suffered. moving along to something from NPR News. Not N, but M. Not M, but N. Harvard University President Claudine Gay resigns. In October of 2023, allegations of plagiarism by the by then President Gay were raised. While those claims were being investigated both by internal and independent groups, some other things happened, like the December 5th congressional hearing in which President Gay, quote, struggled to provide clear answers when asked about their politics in cases where students advocated genocide against Jews, unquote. She wasn't the only person at that hearing that struggled with the answer. The presidents of Pennsylvania University and MIT were there too. In light of the reaction, both the hearing and the allegations, Claudine chose to resign at the start of the year, which is good because the investigations have come to a troubling end, we think. They did go all the way back to 1997 in examining her works. The internal investigation found, quote, a few instances of inadequate citation, which for them is very heavy-handed language. She forgot to use quotation marks and forgot to provide sources for quotes from the AP News. The independent investigation found that some 25 allegations, 9 were of principal concern, with others leading Claudine to correct papers written in 2012 and 2001. For those at home, we do remember to use quotation marks when quoting other people's words, even if you can't see them. Which is why you should join the Discord channel and read our scripts, see our linked articles, and generally have fun. I do enjoy my quotation marks. And moving on to our final segment, one that we know you wait for with bated breath every week. The segment that finds us asking the question, why, Florida? Why? Just why, Florida? And usually the answer to that question is pretty much Florida. Florida, y'all. And after the delightful lull we experienced for the holidays, Florida is back in full swing. From the Miami Herald, ex-Florida trooper robbed stores, Googled, do drugstores get robbed in Florida? Feds say. Yep, that's cans. And I know that couldn't have been Uncle Randy. He ain't never been a cop. Uncle Randy been many things, but he ain't never been a cop. Next up, from the Hernando Sun, HCSO recovers pricey pooch stolen by Amazon driver. Guy delivers package and is greeted by neighbor's dog, the $4,000 dog. $4,000 dog. Oh, Deadpan, you're priceless. Follows him down the block. Guy decides to take dog home. Amazon customer service contacted to request return of dog. Customer service rep tells owner to call the police. You know, I think they should get that guy from the delivery guy from the UK. I mean, it might take 6 years, but they get the dog back. We have a couple of articles from WPLG 10 News. Rabies advisory issued after bat incident at Florida movie theater. And for clarification, that is bat as in the flying mammal, and not bat as the stick used to break headlights. Moving on, Florida mom's OnlyFans sticker gets her banned from drop-off at kids' Christian school. Quote, "It's legal, you know. I pay taxes just like everyone else, but I'm not breaking a law." Wait, does that mean that the way everyone else is paying taxes around her is breaking the law? Way to blow up your neighbor's spot. "I just offend people," said Michelle Klein. So far, a truce has been reached where Klein can park across the street and escort her children to the school. As far as we know, that's the only type of escorting she does. Florida man sues Duncan over toilet explosion that he says left him injured. Injured lawsuit accuses Dunkin' Donuts of negligence after man was injured in explosion. Criminally. Without going into extremely icky details, we agree with the following quote. The injured party requires mental health care and counseling as a direct result of trauma experienced in the restroom at the defendant's business and from the continuing trauma following the event. I would too. But I do suppose we should have expected this from their new coffee drink, the Dunkin' Runs Bathroom Blowout Quad Stout. That's 4 shots of espresso topped with coffee and Citrusel and served with a roll of toilet paper. Last of all, CanadianRunningMagazine.com. Miami Marathon finisher medals sparks airport security concerns. To be fair, the marathon organizers did tell everybody to check the medals and not try to wear them onto the airplane. Quote, "This was proactive on our end. Once we received the initial batch of medals, we thought, hey, you know what? Someone could misinterpret this." Miami race director Frankie Ruiz. Wow. Florida trying not to Florida. Flouting Floridian forethought, flashy fidget spinners, frightened flight functionaries fault found with fancy filigree forces falling fludge. All right, let's try that again. Flouting Floridian man, I was so close. So close to the end of the script, too. It was filigree, that's where I tripped. And then I just fell through the rest of it. Thesaurus. Here we go. Flouting Floridian forethought, flashy fidget spinners frighten flight functionaries. Fault found with fancy filigree forces, flinging of flamboyant finery into the file 13. Got there. Got there in the end. Well, friends, we've reached the end of another episode. Thank you for joining us, friends. I am, have been, and hopefully will be again in the future, your host, Trevor Stewart 1308. And don't forget to join us tomorrow, same Trev channel, same Trev time, for a live episode of Gastrophilia and some conversation. Also, of course, as always, stick around for the raid, and as they say around here, 2 up, 2 down, VA, double deuces. I'm out, y'all.